It's a loss, of course, to Cloud9 for NaVi. Damn, was it ever close. I think a Sprout victory for Team Liquid that was absolutely necessary, or else we would have been left here scratching our heads wondering whether they could even contend for that playoff stage. So let's get right into this best of one to figure out who's 2-1, who's 1-2. This match observed by Rushley and MC. And I am ready to get the action started, just like Yakinder. He's always at the front. He's always ready to roll. And inside that cave is Simple. A lot of talk about Simple on the desk prior to this one going live. It's always about Simple. That's what the vibe is. And Perfecto, well, he will get that first blood of this map. He's got himself a second. OC's going to bring it back. Cave belongs to Simple. Sumdai Young presses out from the smoke. And that's going to leave OC in a clutch that he can't close. Simple just locks down Cave, no split into the sight launders, and a nice clean CT start.
So I think it's actually a huge benefit to NaVi to be able to start CT side. We've seen a correlation between the team that starts CT side on Ancient in the past couple of months and the team who wins as well. But in terms of the veto, this is one of the worst places they could have possibly gone. Liquid have a very good record on it recently. Yakinder coming onto the team, this was one of the two maps that stood out the absolute most in terms of the roles that actually made more sense, where Liquid have Yakinder now as the B defaulter in a lot of the T rounds, and he supports all three parts of the map on CT side, but starts B most typically and does a fantastic job at it. And with T entries being invaluable on Ancient, Yakinder, that's where he just brings another dimension to the game where basically no other pickup in the world could have. But the fact that NaVi brought it into this, left it in the veto and allowed it to be picked is scary in and of itself, because it's NaVi and because, as it was alluded to on the desk, they have Blade, and the sheer amount of preparation he does is no secret.
Yeah, Blade and his encyclopedias. NaVi ready not only for maybe Ancient, but also this A-hit. Bit will be the casualty inside sight, replaced by Simple quickly. He's got players already coming to support him, so no one's going to get away. The MP7, 2 frags, and it all comes down to Yakinder trying to hide inside the temple, look to get away with a cheeky kill, but it's just the one on Bit. That's it. NaVi 2-0 start.
So of course we're talking about a very small amount of maps, but the last two games for NaVi versus Fnatic and Endpoint, they got 16-7 by Endpoint. In those two games, they had 17% T round wins. So they really just didn't show what they can do. And at one point, NaVi and Cloud9 were the best Ancient teams in the world, and they still have that fearsome aura, but it's just they've been taken down a peg. So we'll have to see how they start today, but with a pistol and CT side, you can expect good things.
Pressure for Yakinder, not only out from Cave, but it was also down at the bottom of middle that he starts taking shots. So peeled between two directions, not given a chance to recover it, and mid entirely to NaVi. So Team Liquid just going to go through the protocols. Let's hit this A site, see what we can get away with. And they do get away with Simple missing a shot, not like a Liege. Headshot in an instant at an A site with the T's feet on top. Electronic, he's inside the smoke. Naf goes beyond, kills Perfecto. Ooh, nice damage there from Naf as well. Tons of it, in fact, through the smoke grenade. OC in with the AK, and Team Liquid in with an early T round win.
So in terms of where the meta has come in the T side, it used to be a lot of fighting as hard as possible for B defaulting, and now it's become less of that and less of the CTs doing the carpet mollies in the back lane and trying to overstack this side of the map, and now more of the T side looking to full A hits to win them rounds, where it didn't feel like that was going to be possible in the future. When they closed that window up, of course, it felt like it kind of implicated Donut more than it did Long A, but both of those angles were useful. Like, take a player like Brokey sitting in the temple, he would make use of both of those angles to stop the rush from coming in. So we see right here this incredibly important shot from a Liege.
Beautiful.
For the one exit back into temple, and Simple is playing outside of it, meant that this was a way for Liquid to win. So they've kind of simplified the map, and that's what's favored the T's and opened up both sides. And now it's not just all about B.
Nice, good. Little changes, big results. Sign me up. More updates. Yakinder this time given a little space up on ledge. Somebody who I think, you know, on the CT side, as you alluded to, huge difference maker over towards the caves. On the offense, Yakinder looking to slot in. Catch him on the lane round after round. Pistols here, Bit behind box. Electronic, ooh, he thought he could lurk in and try to get more from that, but Yakinder being just, 20 feet behind is perfect before this T-side push into the A site. They'll chew through 2 pistols. Nitro's gonna find Simple, and that one comes for free.
And we'll see more of this as well. And this one has made the map more interesting. We are seeing a lot less Ancient picks these days. And I say these days, like it feels like it changed month to month. Some tournaments it would be like a lot of Ancient. Very recently in the Challenger stage, very few Ancient games played, at least in my memory. And I'm not surprised to see it coming back in, especially with some of the Legends teams who are particularly good on it. And like teams like Cloud9 wouldn't get to play it versus some other competition, but will probably have it pop up if they have a veto against NaVi.
Right.
A best of 3 in these situations. Liquid is another team, of course. So, okay, well, 2-0 into 2-2 right here. Liquid will be feeling very good about this. They had such a slow start on the first day in the first map.
Leash burning, done.
Oh, and he's gone. He was on the outside of the smoke. That was a very unfavorable molly spread.
He put out the forward one, but it's that second incendiary that just burns him to a crisp. Perfecto jumping into the cave. Nitro at the helm of this. Another missed shot from Simple. 2 rounds where he could have dropped one on the entry. Instead, it's space given over to Team Liquid. They will, of course, again, not have Cave, but OC best Simple. And then Yakinder comes wide with the kill, but the Cave player's replaced. Electronic right there when he needs to be. He's going to keep this one nice and even. Nap will go for the safe plant. Spam cannot find its target. A deep ramp position for the Opera here, and it's a nice start from OC. To get the better of Simple within the first 5 rounds, op to op. It's a good look for the North American. I think, you know, one of the pieces that is still questionable within Team Liquid, can he truly be a trophy lifter? Well, right now, the impact's made. Electronic, he's gonna press in slightly, flash out. It's desperate for OC. He doesn't follow through. This is a 10-second stick. The smoke's soon to fade, but yeah, he's gonna have to start taking some random shots. And sure enough, just can't land it. A 10-second defuse comes through from NaVi as OC just gets, you know, completely relegated to irrelevancy.
We see that smoke come down on the banana, and that's the most important smoke on the retake. And unfortunately, a lot of the best post-plant spots just will be one smoke and you're out of the round. So what's really important on these T-side hits, especially when it comes to B, and a big reason why teams are going B less is because it's so easy to retake with a little bit of utility. It's a very scary position for the Ts coming in to simply put the bomb down in high number situations like 4v4. And sometimes it's too hard to try to force those kills to happen.
Forcing it again. Ooh, lane side. Yakinder's gonna get something back. Dives through smoke. Oh, almost catches that FAMAS off, but Sumdai Young's gonna retreat instead. So some map control for Liquid.
Yeah, this is wild. There's still 2 CTs pushed in mid. A is completely open at the moment.
Bomb sitting outside of it. Bit softened slightly. Sumdai Young has slid into the corner of Cave. That could catch Yakinder off.
Yeah, so if Yakinder sees the shoulder spot, then he's gonna forget about Sumdai Young in the corner. So I think it looks like Perfecto just wants to give him something to...
Yeah. Setting him up.
Yeah.
Ooh, but not even a shoulder peek. They just both go into the no man's land. Find Yakinder. And OC slides out. No contact here. Temple player's about to get the angle. Bit, yeah, easy pickup. Bomb down as well. So now NaVi, they can just all start coming over. We saw Naf on an entry here get good position into the CT spawn he once went, but this time it's Bit to come through with those closing 2 frags, and we've got NaVi back to winning rounds.
In the Legend stage, there are certain few players that have to be talked about because they can literally drag their teams to wins. And we celebrate them, and sometimes we celebrate them a bit too much because this is a team game, but their impact is so far above everybody else's that it actually matters. And those players are Simple, Shiro, Zywoo, and Yakinder for Team Liquid. And I know that some of the rhetoric between some of the top coaches is simply that they put a huge amount of their game plan into countering that player, the guy who is the opener, the guy with the highest efficacy. And if they, I imagine, if NaVi wanted to play Ancient today, it would be trying to figure out how Yakinder plays and defaults outside the B site to kill him as many times as possible. We've seen him crossing and dying on certain timings already in this match, and now he's just been hunted down, trying to chill in a corner where he sometimes lingers off to when the dust settles.
Electronic gonna hold that mid walk out. Nade, perfect. Sets up Electronic for the easy close here. Middle does not belong to Liquid. And Elige, you'd think, destined for death. So 5 up from NaVi. Nice little recovery so far since we saw those couple of round wins come through from Liquid. But Elige will not go down for free. Gonna bring Perfecto with him. Another duel towards the top of mid is damage, but nicely done from Young. Comes out, catches Yakinder in a heads-up duel versus that AK-47, the one piece of Liquid that was meant to pop off, just sent to the dirt instead.
I'd like to see how much they're relying on spawns here, because we're seeing so many fast mids from Team Liquid running right into heavy mid control from NaVi. And sometimes, even if you know there's a really heavy threat, like let's say it's long control on Dust 2, 3 CTs are there. If you have good enough spawns, sometimes you're prepared to try to fight it. But a lot of the time, you want to avoid a pack of CTs if possible. Come in late, because the later the round goes on, the less smokes are active, and the less chance that the CTs are in weird positions. But look at the fast B rush, man.
Simple lands this one time. Damage in, but still down, and no support here barring the cave. Young again aggressive on this flank, and with that little gap, he could very well catch them off. Nitro, ooh, now they're stuck inside sight. Team Liquid, they're gonna fight forward. There's no chance to go back. Bit, it's just the one and done. Electronic falls right after, and Naf is putting his name at the top of the board here for Liquid. It's a bunch of damage on Elige and Nafly, but it's not the kills that NaVi need in that fight, that round. Incredibly electric.
Yeah, and they did a good job at transposing into the back lane's control there too. That's one of the remedies to the problems of the B site, where it's so easy to retake. Well, now if you take out the back lanes and you can play there, it slows the retake down so much, even if you're not actually back there. In this situation, they were forced to fight in those lanes, so it looked a little uncomfortable. Couple of small timings and a couple of low players here from Liquid. So yes, that situation could have flipped on its head, but they got simple where he only got a leg shot off, didn't get a kill on the site hold, and then SDY on the flank, he even gets smoked out in his position, gets 1 kill and taken down, and feels like he has to join the fight as soon as possible, because that same sort of retake smoke, of course the shoe's on the other foot, but the same retake smoke that would stop you on Banana in the post plant, well, he can't stand behind that for 15 seconds and expect to comfortably retake. So just some good awareness here from Nafly in pretty much the only position he could be in to do most of the heavy lifting for Team Liquid, and they get a third.
Back to 3 members on lane.
So yeah,
burning nades.
This is what I thought they would try to do more, a little bit. Wow, okay.
It works. Hell, it works. They get away 2 separate fights, one in middle, one on lane, and damage on Yakinder. So now tasked to entry with only 40 health. Simple still posted, and down he goes. A nice comfortable 5 versus 3 from NaVi. So despite Team Liquid's best efforts of getting aggressive last round, NaVi fighting fire with fire.
Yeah, so they don't go for aggressive mid control this time, Liquid, but they still go for aggressive B control into a lot of nades. So it's a good call from NaVi, but I think the best part of all was it wasn't NaVi initially running out of everything off of spawn. They waited for a second, let Liquid think that they had free back lanes, and then they had Electronic even push down mid again, which I didn't see coming. So they found an in-between timing, a very particular moment there for NaVi to counter Liquid's aggression. Liquid seems so adamant about getting something early for free, even if it's really scrappy, which I think makes a ton of sense on Ancient. You know, you want to respect nades and respect really good teams, but at the same time, some of your best fights are just at the beginning of the round, and if you get away with them, which is just on Ancient, you're expecting to lose a lot of your T rounds. So if you just get away with them, you give yourself like a 45% chance, but it's someone like Nafly or Yakinder running at them, or Elige. Sometimes it's worth that risk. Sometimes it is. I wonder what Liquid will make of this situation now. They've been dealt with pretty well. I think they've given up. NaVi have given up 3 rounds, and Liquid are probably proud of that. But for the most part, when it comes to getting in the way of their defaults, it feels like NaVi, the game plan is translating really well at the moment to their execution. I think they're meeting themselves halfway, and they probably feel pretty good. Look at the one loss that NaVi have. It's versus Cloud9 on Mirage. An excellent game from Cloud9, and NaVi they didn't destroy Vitality, but I think they were kind of clearly the better team by the time we got to 3rd overtime. They were the team who were always in the lead.
Every match point.
Every match point, and a very good map for them overall. So certainly not playing badly. Of course, it's their first Legends loss in 3 majors now.
Right.
So not exactly the same standard that they've set for themselves.
I think also, though, you look at some of the, head-to-heads, right? NaVi play Vitality, who have now powered up, a Cloud9 that's been powered up, and now it's versus Liquid, somebody that, a roster that everybody would expect to be making playoffs with their recent form. So NaVi with their hands full. looking mortal, but also giving us really good matches every step of the way so far. Nice to see these 9 rounds go back and forth. Nice to see NaVi clearly not slipping by allowing Ancient coming through. And it's a good chance to reset Team Liquid and send them down to the economic dumps. We'll have Ykinder on a Tech 9. What could be, what's expected to be, the heaviest of hitters, suddenly muted somewhat. Oh, eats the flashbang from his teammate as well. So Ykinder was looking to pop in with that, and for now he'll have to wait. Electronic, no resistance, he'll slot into middle.
Yeah, he's got a good piece of cover here from Simple inside a donut, able to stare into elbow. It might be hard spots to try to figure out here for Team Liquid. But this is the most comfortable they've been kind of 30 seconds into a round with 5 alive.
SDY's been taking on a lot of responsibility with this cave play. He's been coming at them at the start of rounds when the timing feels right. And now this opening has provided Simple a chance to posture through middle. But that flash will have him move back. Of course, shooting a bullet, going to warn Team Liquid as to his presence. And when it comes to Simple, you never really know where he's got off to.
Yeah.
So, of course,
I feel
as he does, instantly pulls back.
I feel like he was actually scoping there on purpose because they were incredibly suspicious that Liquid were still defaulting out of here. And if he really wanted to just search out a kill, he could have just hard scoped and waited. And then what he got was a response to confirm to the team that, yeah, they do want to hold control of this and they're trying to hide from us.
SDY being sent in. Clean kill into Elige. That may have been without head armor, but we've got Nitro back in with the refrag at a man advantage to Liquid. We're going to get that follow-up with the utility. Electronic tucked back onto the side of short. He'll go down. Nitro, multi-kill, but Simple given a chance and hits Nitro as he flies across the sky. He's lucky to be alive. Oh. And Simple, he's going to keep tearing them up, but not with the no-scope. Nap to the clutch, bested by Bit. Piece by piece, NaVi press into that B site, and Team Liquid, despite the plant, despite the follow-through with lesser HP, they will fall in a clutch that could be critical. The economy's gone.
Second shot was cute, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. So wall bangs, extra damage, extra kills here in an open lane because Liquid come in low in utility. Of course, they just have 2 pistols, otherwise that would have definitely been smoked out. They really relied on this one Molotov to stop anybody from rotating in. Once they killed Electronic, they thought they had a few seconds here, but they thought wrong. And NaVi won a key one. That was one that would have saved the economy for Liquid. We're back on a save now.
Maui Snake making it clear on the desk. You know, Team Liquid should be shooting for more than this in terms of T rounds. I think he said 5 or 6. Of course, chances improve on the CT side, but you want that wide margin of error. Economy playing against them. They'll try again to pop into this A site. Now, it is somewhat understaffed. We've got just Bit doing his thing. But a smoke grenade comes down in front of Team Liquid, and of course NaVi already pressing Electronic into lane. See absolutely nothing at this B site, and as long as there's no mid presence, you know, this is a safe spot for Electronic to keep mid. These A players, the 2 of them, should be on high alert.
And we'll see about the potency of a full A hit right now. I mean, NaVi, while they do seem to know it's not B, they are still tied up at the thought that it could be Team Liquid holding really far back. They're actually giving them a lot of respect here. So 2 on site, ready to hold.
They're coming through. There's enough utility here for Team Liquid to just scramble the defense. We see that sail in. Bit, he's going to catch him. At least the front runner. 2 in for Bit. Perfecto finds his 1. And Naf, that solo Galil, will sure enough do damage, but not enough to press the bomb forward. And by the time, of course, that these kills come through, we've got Donut occupied, Simple's coming over to feast, and Naf, oh, he'll have to pull off the most miraculous of clutches. 15 seconds. A bomb plant, not even looking free. Sumdai Young slides in. NaVi, it's an 8-3 CT lead. And Team Liquid, well, now it's a buyback, of course, but they would have loved to find some footing in that B side, excuse me, A.
Yeah, it's definitely a novel idea to think, okay,
just nothing.
You think it's going to be the A site. Why have an op? You know, just keep 2 riflers there, much more versatile on rifles to work with each other. It's easier to throw grenades and still be safe. And you could play much more active in the site positions and not have to fall out like we saw Simple get caught trying to get back into Temple in a previous round. So again,
Kinder on cave.
Well, they got a very effective flash here to stop SDY from peeking.
So Kinder has been bested. Currently the bottom fragger for Liquid, 3 kills only.
My God.
Full white, no pressure.
That was a crazy way to approach that. Just ate the full-on flash, didn't move, and there was no peek as well.
He's waiting for that headshot. But much like last time, the moment he presses in, he's going to get both Sumdai Young and Perfecto.
Okay, now this is the best position that Liquid have found themselves in. They finally won mid, they finally got B control, and they have the top part of Cave as well. So now we can see what they've always wanted to do in this game.
Bit of utility pressure towards the site. Remember, bomb hasn't been picked up, so that's going to make things weird, especially by losing one of the A players. You'd think NaV has to go for it. OC is going to grab it instead. NaV still just trying to slot in. There's 2 CTs, of course, once upon a time here inside A main. And NaV's going to take some chip damage. So despite Team Liquid having good positioning, it's cost them a leash. It's cost them all some health.
Yeah, but they got rotations. Now Perfecto's the one guy here with SDY. He's low. SDY tucked in the site. Yeah, he's got to worry about smoke, and he's getting spammed now.
Awkward, but all good. Rotates come over. 15 seconds left. OC with a bit of desperation here to clear out that back corner, and as Nitro presses in, he's going to get pinched. Just chopped down. Sumdai Young holds on, and this one from Team Liquid's what felt like best position to a totally flat result.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you know, we can't be surprised to see like NaVi not playing deep aggressive control and everything all the time, but they stayed alive just like Liquid. So failure to get that 5v4, and for Liquid, failure to do anything with the map control. We have Simple in a brand new position. Of course, he's the guy who rotates more than any other CSGO pro in the world, and he does find ways on CT side to find new openings. So it's hard to predict he's going to be over there. I mean, a passive angle, sitting on the A, is holding A main control with a teammate on a rifle as well. And NaFly successfully gets them back, but by the time all of these antics are done playing out, there is just no more time left on the clock to go forward with a full strength exec with lots of utility, and Liquid falter because of it. So I'd say that's the first time we've seen NaVi really push to level 2. The rounds that Liquid won, quite simple rounds, especially with the full-on A takes, and they've still always got that. Again, that's incredibly meta at the moment. CT teams are still figuring out how to best deal with teams that like going A a lot. We saw one example of how that could have been in the last round, even though it was just versus the default. And with a few rounds remaining in the half now, I think NaVi have enough data where they can really make sensible decisions about what Liquid want to try to do, and they also have some confidence about the way they've won the rounds versus Team Liquid's apparent game plan. And Yukinder has not been able to get out of this half of the map what he really wants to and needs to. Oh, wow.
NaV, though. Little X factor.
Yeah, that's something.
Singular AK, Sumdai Young finally going to go down. He's been very successful in that cave pressure. Stifling Team Liquid outside of the site. Simple, okay. A half-second delayed, but still puts down Yukinder. And don't forget, what was once a single AK now becomes 2 in the hands of Elige. They're going to work this one forward. We've got 3 CTs inside site now present, seen. NaVi on high alert. Ramp not really under pressure just yet. Nitro, in fact, going down, opens up a push for Perfecto. He can go deep, and now suddenly Team Liquid just trying to charge out. It's only OC on the D to deliver. Team Liquid going to give NaVi that 10th CT win.
Well, finally, they get kind of like a patient demo kill there from NaFly to punch the spam back, but it's on a round where they just don't have any guns behind it. Would have loved to have a full buy there to see the 5v4 play out with a much weaker cave and one of the B guys down, but at the moment, NaVi so reliable on most parts of the map. Electronic has his mark on like 3 rounds inside of mid with 2 Ks. Simple, while missing shots earlier in the game, it's just already started to heat up. And SDY and Bit have done a great job here on CT side of B.
Nate again, though. Yukinder playing with 20 health. Safe to say he's been smothered in this half?
Completely. I mean, when Maui talked about his peaks, I think he has the best peaks of any pro, period, and I think other people are learning from the way he peaks. But, yeah, in this game, he's been fully countered. Late re-aggression out of mid, out of nowhere. Elige would tell you, as Perfecto swings out with no control of the B side. That's why he was open to this angle, because it's like, why would he take this risk if I have teammates who are out here?
Some Die Young.
Wow.
Nice clean double kill, and he'll continue to do what he has done this entire CT half.
Yeah.
Just dominate on the shelf. Time and time again inside of caves, whether he's the one peeking out. I feel like the only time we've seen some Die Young actually get punished or not make a play that could have been traded out by everybody else, it's that one time NaVi gets the spam through the wood. Other than that, this guy on your screen has delivered. He's right up there alongside Electronic, Simple, Bit. And with his future on this roster kind of unknown, this would be an excellent time for him to really just, you know, remind us what he can do.
Yeah, he's super solid. I mean, when we look at the Vitality game, listen, SCY is not going to get that many kills in across a lot of matches, but if you have a pair of eyes, you can see that he's doing a lot. In that Vitality match as an entry on T side, I think they lose the match without a few of these rounds that he got. So, and also a lot more active than the last time I watched NaVi play Ancients with him on it. Look at him go.
Again, over and over.
So much freedom, just taking liberties here. He's trusting himself as an individual.
It feels like all of NaVi have kind of found that mentality towards the end of this half. Team Liquid were fighting far more successfully.
They're getting dusted.
Dude, just smoked.
Is he done?
Yeah, because of the nade. Goes for the flash, gets caught out, but I mean, done his job and then some, and safe to say, NaVi, it's the perfect case. 12-3 on the CT side of Ancient. Can Team Liquid muster a comeback, or is this one already done?
It's Elige. He's at the backside of Catwalk. He can see players pushing him. He's spinning back and forth. Elige electric hold.
Looking to complete the sweep. Team Liquid have looked excellent here on Overpass. And Elige, oh my god, he just executes them.
We're heading to OT. 100 Thieves, they had the advantage. They had Team Liquid right where they wanted them. Flashbang in, and they try and pop out on the back of it. Elige opening it up. Go on, bud. There it is, number 4.
It's about to get real cool over here towards their ramp.
Doesn't work out, but there's Elige. You said you wanted to see him. T3000 on the map. You've seen a lot of him. That's stunning from Elige. That's the big dog you want.
They're still down there, and now the spray. The murder box.
This world is slowing down. How can I fight it? How can I listen when there's no sound? Oh,
Team Liquid maybe caught asleep at the wheel as they came into this best of one versus NaVi, but at this point I feel like almost anybody would. That is a semi-trailer, a filled to the brim dump truck that NaVi have just run through the Team Liquid train, trying to get forward with the 2-1 score. Looks incredibly likely for NaVi at this point, but it is the CT side of Ancient. It's a pistol round away from a potential comeback. We're gonna have to see whether NaVi's aggression and sharp individual prowess can follow through here in round 16. So far, so good. We've got Osi removed from it. Elige answers back, and he did, of course, spot that cross, but bit smoked away. And so, NaVi pause. Elige will not. Starts to play forward. Bomb's been dropped towards the top of middle. Looks good for Liquid so far, and that's gonna continue to trend their way. 3 members left of Liquid, all trying to get towards middle now. So we'll have Perfecto and Electronic fighting from both sides of mid. Man disadvantage, equalized, counter terrorist in the open, and Yakinder finally given a chance to succeed.
Yeah, Yakinder had a very poor T side, and for a lot of teams and players and stuff, like T side took whatever, they'll be back on CT, but on this map I think he definitely is a core rifler on T side who should be able to just pick up rounds by himself, and had no success at all on entries. You know, couldn't keep up with SDY even when it came to facing him. And maybe they can forget those woes if they convert here and get onto a first rifle in a good mood. But yeah, it was looking not great. Remember, the 3 rounds that Liquid won were actually all good rounds. It wasn't a pistol, it wasn't any eco round. They had to win 3 rifles. But they just did it all in the beginning and then completely outplayed as the map rolled on. If that was a play out half to 30 rounds, it feels like Liquid would have just won 20, or NaVi would have won 27 and left Liquid in the dust. But you know what they say, if you're going through hell, keep going. And now Liquid are kind of on the other side of things and could reasonably perform a comeback. We don't know what to say about NaVi's T side at all. It is definitely their worst side, and in the last 2 maps, just couldn't get any rounds at all. So if there's anything, clearly the preparation came through on CT side on top of it, but there was probably even more for T side and how to solve the problems of Ancient as a whole. I think, you know, on kind of behalf of all top teams, I feel like NaVi are one of the teams you look at for how to create the most detailed and interesting and, I guess, compelling approaches to being the best at a map. I mean, NaVi, for me, Simple, Electronic, and Bit are the 3-star players, and SDY and Perfecto are 2 intelligent and underrated support players. But when you compare them to a couple of other rosters, like even that of like FaZe, for example, I don't think they pound for pound stand up to those teams. I think they succeed because they have the best player in the world, they have a very strong core, but then they have the best team possible. They played T rounds even in this Legends stage versus Vitality, like on Mirage, for example, calling the most complicated and detailed strategies that I've ever seen in the history of the game. I'm just going to put it that way. And it's been like that for NaVi since 2021. They're setting the bar entirely. And I think that they're able to beat teams that would otherwise beat them on talent alone, just because they make up for it by being the best. And then we look over at Liquid, where some people have some doubts about, you know, how good the team actually is, and if it's just that they're mystified by the sheer impact of Yakinder. And I think, you know, I think it's a little bit of both. I think the Yakinder definitely helped with roles on top of being impactful and the team getting better as well. But it has to be said, Yakinder can be the best rifler in the game, and just having opening kill stats like he does kind of transcends any conversation you can have about how to improve as a team. I mean, once it's 5v4 and you're good enough, you can beat a great team that is down a player very easily, and that's the power Yakinder brings. But he wasn't bringing it earlier in this half, and hasn't looked incredible in general in these past couple of games.
It's been a slower event for him, and you think that, you know, the formula for Team Liquid minus Ykinder with what they've kind of done to set him up to succeed, to put him as the entry, and now I feel like because of how successful he is with entry fragging, it changes the identity for Liquid. But when they lose that, when they lose what they've most recently built for, what is left?
Elige is so, it's not as if Ykinder does all of the entrying now. It's that when they default on maps like, let's say Vertigo and Ancient are the two kind of most pertinent examples, where on Vertigo you're lurking on both sides of the map, and Ykinder is lurking on the A side of the map, and Elige is working B, or they're switching roles, or they're just both prodding on. They didn't have that before. They didn't have a second lurker that was aggressive lurker that was equivalent to the power of Elige, and then on Ancient, he's taken over his position on the B side and allowed Elige to continue working inside of mid. And now it just feels like they have even strength in terms of how many times they're taking these duels with two players who are regularly at the top of the board, and both can be aggressive entries. Elige just didn't want to do it all the time. Right. He was definitely good enough to pull it off, but he's not having his best couple of years in these past two, and his stats will take a little hit having Ykinder on the team, but they almost certainly will see more success with how he's been freed up to not be forced to open every single time now.
Little duality between Elige and Ykinder can be enough to best many teams, tear through setups and whatnot. But I want to transition this kind of over to Osimo, because we've got Ykinder sitting at the bottom of the board, and I feel like when Ykinder's not there, it's apparent that Team Liquid are going to have a rougher game. With Osi, you know, do his shortcomings kind of get overshadowed when Ykinder's right there with him? Is this somebody who doesn't need to hit hard in order for Liquid to succeed? Is, you know, the op identity of Team Liquid, again, just kind of left in the air?
If you ask NaVi, you know, the core right now is Elige, Ykinder, and Osi, and not him. He said he's taking more support roles along with Nitro. NaVi is, of course, just too individually skilled to ever really be some kind of true support player in any meaningful sense. And that's just what makes the team really strong, again, overall. But the problem is I can never zoom in on one half T side. So we'll have to see, because I think one bad map for sure for OC is Inferno. That's consistently, we saw that yesterday, and we saw that in a really big game versus Cloud9. It may have been Cologne. He struggles on that map, on CT side even, and I don't know exactly why. I think on Vertigo, OC is actually pretty damn good. I just think he's good. Like, if you just put him in a vacuum, I'm just like, this player, what do you think about him? No one else exists. I just think he's a really, really talented CS player. He's very well-rounded. And when I watch some of these demos, I'll notice that, you know, OC has a lineup for every single nade. And I really respect that when players do that. I mean, even the most simple grenades, if you leave a crack on a smoke and your teammate dies because of it, I don't want to be hyperbolic, but that can change the whole half if someone gets tilted because of some stupid error like that. And when you know that OC's throwing a flash for you, it's going to be a good flash. When you know he's throwing a smoke for you, it's going to be a good smoke. It's not going to be, it's not going to expose anything, and you can trust it. That does make a difference. So I really think that, yeah, OC has the skills, and he's still just really young. We see some big games here and there, some inconsistencies.
True.
But Liquid have insanely high expectations for him, even at this one major right now.
The oddity with OC, I think, when we go back to Cologne, is that his group stage play is pretty lackluster. But when he hits the playoffs, all of a sudden OC shows up.
That was the weird part, and it's always nice to know that you've got a teammate that may be playing badly, but not because of the pressure.
Right.
Because the pressure one is one of the hardest problems that you have to deal with on a human level, you know. So not having to think about that is nice.
Give him some runway, and maybe he takes off. And it feels like at the moment, Team Liquid, they need to take off. We get back into the action. Nitro's rejoined the server. To be fair, also down there with Ykinder and OC, but that is what we come to expect. So Liquid, let's see what needs to be a near flawless defensive half here on Ancient. Very fun that we get to play Ancient between these two teams. We know that the recency of Team Liquid's success has been on this map, and Elige will chalk down a couple players, and then suddenly NaVi bring it back. This is unarmored pistols, in with 2 kills, an open A site essentially. They'll get tagged from the back, so that slows them down, and it creates a moment for OC to start to go towards A, but he wants to clear top mid first and foremost. They're going to forfeit the bomb site. They're going to give them the plant. And what's really weird is they also give them space to post-plant. Positions taken up from NaVi. They are not sure where to go, so they actually just end up floating inside of the site, and that leads OC into an easy first pick, and then the last 2 follow suit. Team Liquid going to grab a 5th. The CT side gets through these unarmored pistols with only 2 deaths.
So they made a mistake there and lost to 2 kills and mid-control the pistols. And they just respected that fact. They were like, okay, well, as long as we don't get lurked on once again, yes, we have to get a bomb down, but nobody's going to get a lucky kill and make this a 3v2 in their favor. And they end up winning, and that's kind of fine. This is just a solid round from NaVi, where they make some money and do some damage. And I think this is where the real story begins. First rifle round in the second half. The Liquid will kind of set the tone for how possible this comeback could feel.
Quick util pressure bottom mid. What was quick 2 players pushing, but abruptly halting for a moment. We're going to get an affinity to the A site out of the gate. Wasting no time here with this one. All of a sudden, Electronic looks for the headshot inside of the bomb site. We will get OC not on the op, but Elige is here with him. Molotov applies pressure to what was Elige's intended position, and now he's got himself a duel that he will indeed pick up. Nitro, in the meanwhile, gonna find himself 2 kills, 1 inside sight, and then 1 dealing with the mid flank, but that's not the only mid flank. We've got Perfecto back over there, and Simple dies inside sight as Yakinder comes to support. I thought for a second NaVi had that setup so scrambled that Liquid could have just been trounced. The fact that Nitro comes back in with 2 kills, Elige can find a pocket as his first position's burned out. All works out for Team Liquid, but you can't say there wasn't a chance there for NaVi.
They had some good flashbangs, and they got the first kill, so it felt like, yeah, the site could tumble over. And Elige also set up on the back at default, but didn't have his smoke out in time to put out the molly, so had to fall back to the L-bend. And then when fighting with Nitro, they had to get 1 smoke kill as well. Now, unfortunately, still a problem with this map is that that position behind the donut smoke is still really powerful, because you can still get a deep angle behind the smoke on wherever the bomb can be planted, which means there's a lot of the times, even though you're behind a smoke, you can reasonably expect that a kill like this could take place. It is a very normal angle. It's like if you're in CT spawn and they're planting the bomb, Inferno B site, you kind of know that angle, whether you can see it or not. And that makes it very easy to stop. And you're kind of suppressing fire as they cross onto the site, but they absolutely have to cross that line of sight. There's no way to jump over it. There's no way to comfortably time when you do it. And so while that smoke is up for 15 seconds, you've got to make a move, and that's when you can die. Liquid do a great job of making up for the fact that they lose their first player to some good flashes from NaVi. And I think they also actually read into that really well, expecting something to lean towards A in an early rifle round. And like as I was talking about in the first half, it's becoming very meta for that to come in. So I'm not surprised that NaVi start with that idea, full on A hit.
NaVi going to burn through a timeout too. Getting a couple of them in order for Blade to speak his mind, and he's got a lot to say. One of the best talent scouts, I think, in CSGO. The amount of players that he's kind of popped up into even the NaVi junior camp, right? That's one of the academy teams that actually has quite some input from the likes of Blade. He's just farming talent. We see that come through.
Yeah. NaVi in some ways is just like the GOAT organization. Like their academy roster's done so well. Blade kind of, we've seen him played with the academy players in person, helping them.
So. Damage. Bit. Looks to take a glance into Donut. Sure enough, Nitro's in between smokes at the moment. And Elige is going to offer up an easy first opening, but Bit, oh, he started to sprint, and that gives Nitro a good chance to react pretty quickly. All these Tech-9s and Desert Eagles are going to get chewed up as they tried to press into the A-site split. It's just closed for the time being. Back-to-back rounds from Na'Vi at this A site. Back-to-back success stories for Team Liquid. Even Nitro being given a chance, but Sumdai Young, could have got himself a second Deeg. Frag Grenade's gonna make this one even easier. I'm sorry, Sumdai Young, your time is limited. However, bring them all with ya. He gets OC at the very least, but it's a 5-round lead for Na'Vi now as Liquid get through upgraded pistols.
Yeah, those shots all matter. Those bounties are 5K per kill for SDY, so a couple of nice Deagle frags right there. And in terms of setting the tone, Liquid have sent the message here with the 2 rounds that we've seen. It was a nice hold versus the full rifle after starting off 4v5 into a very clean anti-ego round. And the game is, it's a 5-round game now, so Na'Vi with the full rifle once again. We'll see if the idea changes.
It's got the gap. Counter-terrorists press in, but before Nitro comes around the side, Elige finds the lineup. Yakinder just adding himself to the defensive line inside of top mid, but in doing so, had opened up the chance that someone goes through. So he didn't like that timing. Could have created a vacuum towards that B site for Na'Vi. Now he's gonna do what he does, peeks off the lane, dies to Sumdai Young. Doesn't matter what side he's on, SDY's got his number tonight. And it's gonna have to be the B defense now. OC missed flick, Electronic presses in, gets caught with the nade in hand, and Elige is everywhere at the moment, finding himself inside B site. Naf gives cover on the cross. A grenade out for Elige is gonna keep Na'Vi at bay, and the bomb gets dropped in the open. Elige, big moment, 3 frags to his name. And as Na'Vi tried to turn attention to the opposite side of the map, they're met by the defense. They have their success somewhat, but in the end, it comes down to Simple.
Oh, he's got the bomb actually, 45 seconds. So Elige giving up this kill now means Simple has a chance to make this round possible. He has nades, so many nades literally all over the B site, and his teammates died right at the top of the choke point. So I'm going to assume that's on his mind here. And that's probably also on Team Liquid's. They have to make the decision as the round peels on. Did they run over towards the A site? Simple's trying to encourage this idea by not making any noise. And now he'll walk up, not find any fights just now.
He slides in.
Might be able to just put this bomb down. We'll see if they rush him.
Nitro comes out from the cave, applies pressure.
Ooh.
And there could have been a chance. You never know. Mahone talked about it on the desk prior to the game, right? Why Simple is considered the GOAT, despite maybe not the fullest cabinet in terms of achievements. It's just because every time you watch him, it feels like anything is possible.
Yeah, I mean, the cabinet is fucking full, man. It's just that it's just the major. But in terms of straight up trophies, MVPs at events he hasn't won in terms of what we look at. I mean,
what's that picture?
Let's be real.
HLTV gives him like 15 MVP medals at one time. The backlog was overflowing. Yeah, it is just majors. The asterisk. From a 5-round lead to the 4.
Liquid looking for 9 half guns here for Na'Vi once again. I feel like everyone's pupils dilate on CT side. They just start drooling like, yes.
Yeah, it's the good shit.
Finally, I feel like I'm going to win some duels.
Yeah. The beating is over. Temporarily, at least, for Liquid. Last buy like this from Na'Vi netted them nothing. Naf's found timing here, gonna crawl it up. It's being watched. Nitro's gonna come at this from the other end, sees the shadow. He finds Electronic. And Nitro certainly kicking it up a notch on this CT side. Coming into the donut, he's been problematic. He's basically been the speed bump into the A site as far as Na'Vi are concerned. Elige lines him up, knocks him down, and Team Liquid continue to claw back these rounds, always leaning on the CT side, it seems, and giving time again for Yakinder and OC to join the fray. They're still steps behind, but so is Team Liquid. Na'Vi, they'll have their another bye, and the gun rounds have always bode well for a kill or two.
Yeah, so now we have to see Na'Vi start to work a little bit harder, and I'm actually kind of surprised we haven't seen more defaults out of NaVi. We started with set plays, and the only reason is just because they don't get a feel for what kind of Liquid is coming at them. Like they, in terms of fog of war, don't really know what's going on outside of B on these full rifle rounds. They aren't really seeing if the individuals are going to make any mistakes. And the way that they were countering Yakinder and really targeting him with SDY and the spams earlier on the first half, that really hasn't continued forward into this one. As we know, Yakinder's only going to get more and more curious as the rounds go on if he finds success as well. He's very good at building momentum and confidence, and that's when he's at its scariest. So if NaVi want to transition into defaults after, I mean, that's fine. They can do that. But I feel like, yeah, they've given Liquid, I think, a way to feel good about the idea of coming back.
And I feel like OC specifically finally gets to swing with the big green.
And look at this. They're not being shy about it. We're looking at a full A coming in maybe in the next 30 seconds already.
Smoke to block off any lane support.
Oh, actually, they added a layer to this. So the mid control coming in, potentially donut split getting involved. No CTs sitting here as well, and they didn't push B lanes on top of it.
Yeah, just like last time, Nitro in the middle.
Right now we talk about fog of war. Liquid do not know what's going on.
The wrong way.
Yeah.
Oh, little body blockage. Bit crosses over, Electronic can't follow suit, and that gives Nitro just that half second to actually come away with a kill. He wasn't even looking.
Oh, hello?
OC drops the ball, unscopes as they come across, and in that, we have Electronic recover from what was a little fumble inside of the donut. It's a 4 versus 2 with the bomb plant. Looked like Team Liquid were given a saving grace, but now it's just the full-on save instead.
Yeah, they also had a Liege walk out of middle into the flank on Donut and still died because of the awareness there from NaVi. So a couple of errors, and honestly, it could have changed the round. But this is also just symptomatic of the fact that the Liquid at that point in the rounds, the full A is coming. But if we look at, you want to juxtapose the first half, every time a full A was coming for NaVi, they always knew. They always knew they had B control, peeking down, holding, pushing down Banana. This situation, Liquid were pretty much full passive, and they gave up mid control as well. And I thought when it was just a full A for NaVi, it was going to be too one-dimensional. But when they involved that late mid split and there was no CT there, no Electronic to stop them, they obviously turned that into a very successful play. And in creating confusion, you also, in creating insecurity, you weaken people's aim, right? It's sort of an intangible, but that is a huge value of splitting sites. It's a huge value of taking away vision from the CTs. Even if they didn't need it, they felt like they did, then they start missing.
Ooh, Nitro through smoke, over fire. Jumps into his position. Elige sees a little bit of skin towards that top shelf. It's Electronic to half health. And he's not the only one. Bit's also been softened up. Felt like that could have been a bloodbath in middle off of the bat, but NaVi just didn't get their hooks in, and Team Liquid immediately fade away. They'll leave this pocket of map control to NaVi. I'll say lackluster nades out of NaVi at the moment. They just threw out their second to last smoke. Only one left on Electronic. A couple of Molotovs, of course, but it will not be that blanketed A bomb site that we saw in the round prior.
I think,
and now OC's in a different spot. Scoped in from Donut. This should be the Opper's paradise. Wow. Sure enough. Easy breezy for OC, and Nitro's here to support, so he can come back at it for second servings, no doubt. The top red hold is also a couple of players, and this adaptation from Liquid goes swimmingly. Hello, Yakinder. Welcome to the kill feed, and no longer on the receiving end. It's NaVi leaning on SDY out from A main. He'll find nothing, just like NaVi. 0 kills for the T side this time, and Liquid yet again within
bit, and this is the added value of Yakinder's CT side. So most of the time he's going to start out by mollying deep control on B, maybe pushing into cave, but he'll late round come back to mid. Rarely ever will end up on the A site to support in any meaningful sense, but between B and mid he actually splits up his time very liberally and isn't just a B player at all. So that won't be the first time that Yakinder shows face there. He is still 9 and 16, but clearly he's starting to wake up. Also, a nice minimum for map control is the position that OC held inside of Donut. That's the place where we see Shiro and Cloud9's very passive holds will be. And you can just cut off the mid rotation and help A at the same time and be an op on that side of the map, all just holding that one sliver.
Yeah, feels way more comfortable than just being in the A site, worried about Donut.
Absolutely.
You know, especially now with Temple's one door closed. Quick adaptation from Team Liquid from round 22 to 3. Nate will find some chip damage on Bit and Simple, and it's not going to shy NaVi away from pressing into mid for the moment. But it's at the minute mark, and again, dwindling utility for NaVi. They've still got some on the ground. Simple goes back to grab it. Sumdai Young's got the full belt, and we hadn't really seen Yakinder succeed from within this
oh my
cave.
God. Wait, so he can watch the beat, yeah.
Naf slides in, Yakinder fully focused, but electronic, insta headshot. Will Naf go unchecked? He's sitting inside the pocket. And he's waiting, and he hears it all. Ooh, this could be the X factor. But
Nitro
if they
dies.
lose everything in the meantime, then Naf's not even going to give a chance to shine. Bomb goes down, and that's perfect. It draws all the attention deep. Naf is not even needed. Elysian, OC, 2 kills apiece as they rotate to the back line. And now Team Liquid within touching distance of NaVi. It's a 2-round difference only.
Yeah, that was the most sloth energy I've ever seen right there. I mean, he slunk into the corner. He listened to everything happening in the jungle, reported everybody who was walking around making noise, called all of his teammates over, makes OC look like a god here, makes Elige look like a god, but they're in place because of Nafly's information. We had Yakinder die in the cave. It's fine if he wants to fight like that. Cave players have to be willing to be in untradeable spots sometimes, but him losing, that can spell disaster for Liquid as this game rolls on.
It's faster. Much quicker. And also diverted from the B doors into the cave. They're going to test Yakinder. Naf is here to support it, as he just watched hanging from the vines last round. No ego. He's inside the corner of the cave. He's going to get himself both. No Yakinder needed. Naf gets his here in round 25, and Simple towards top mid, spots Elige. Ooh, tries to go for the taps, but Elige that much sharper, and Yakinder comes down from the ramp to just put a quick close to NaVi's half-buy attempt. This T side is starting to falter.
We were at 12-4, 12-3, of course, to start things out.
Oh, he tries.
Now it's literally Liquid's game to lose. I mean, this has been there's been 1 T round given over to NaVi. That's it so far in this half.
And only 1 bomb plant.
Yeah.
And of all the rounds the Team Liquid end up winning, only twice have they had 2 or less players alive.
The main out here for NaVi is Yakinder, most aggressive player on the team, will take a lot of opening fights, plays a very key position on the map. When we look at that first half, SDY getting 2 and 3 kills sometimes in cave was the reason they won entire rounds. That will be the case for Yakinder. They're not going to be able to avoid him, and they might not even want to because he hasn't been doing a great job. So we'll see in these last final moments if it is going to be the case that he can make or break the situation. And NaVi should probably be taking attention to this as a way to get back into the game, but they're going to have to do it off of a worse buy. We're not going to have an op here for Simple or anything like that. Slight concessions with the utility overall. But as far as Liquid are concerned, they've got a reasonably good bank account. OC 8,600, Elige 10K, Nafly 10K. They have a buffer.
Now all of a sudden, you know, this tale of Team NaVi here in the Legend stage is one of vitality nearly coming back, and NaVi having to, you know, close eventually after 10 match points, those 3 OTs. We look at Cloud9, a successful 16-14 comeback as well, and now Team Liquid bouncing into the exact same narrative. So NaVi hunting a close.
So what Yakinder does here when he pushes cave, he keeps an eye on elbow late into the round. This is something unique that he does just more aggressively than everyone else. See how much he's peeking and taking risk here, and he'll keep it smoked as well to make sure that any kind of late play towards mid gets shut down. It's really important that NaVi were thinking about this just now. Now they're reset and wondering what's been pushed, and he will continue to get curious. And unlike the round that they did lose, the one in this half, this time Liquid have full deep B control with information. So even if it's an A play late, they're going to find out about it.
Kinder sees the presence from middle. Doorway will be smoked off on B, so a second. So much room for Yakinder made. Of course, that OC gets drawn into the gunfight and delivers that easy pickup onto Bit. Yakinder slides out, finds Electronic, who's trying to pressure himself through the utility here because NaVi are just grasping for anything. They can't get middle, they can't get outdoors. Everything is a struggle for NaVi to push, so it's gonna come down to a little bit of X factor. Maybe 2 players just take a swing at A, but as quickly as they walked into main, they fall back. Maybe making sound, trying to sell it to the donut setup that could have been in position, but honestly, no time. They walk it too far back. Naf has found himself a little cubby to play off of, and it's all good here for Team Liquid.
Ironically enough, that's a round that Ykinder wins off of information, where he also just gets a kill, but he does that without really having to frag anybody. It just makes it more convincing. It makes the round look like it's over a little bit earlier on, and now it's a tie game between NaVi and Liquid. The buy will come in once again here for NaVi because they saved a couple of guns, but now the money just gets so much more dangerous to spend because one eco and it's match point. Liquid got to be feeling better, and they answered again. One of their only kind of problems with the information outside of B.
They're going to try to press through again. Bit, one of 3 AKs here for NaVi. Ooh, he slides in. That's perfect. He saw Elige on one side, but Elige makes sound on the fallback, and Bit tries to go for it. A quick trigger finger. And Elige now on high alert. Simple looking to join on lane with 2 other members of NaVi. Electronics Tech9 at the front of this push, and Bit is going to be problematic from now until the end. Elige tries to come back and clear it, and he's going to go down. Insta headshot in from Bit, but it's not the only CT. 2 more of them here. Hell, a 3rd is incoming. Meanwhile, B site's been evacuated. Naf has to go back. The deep smokes come over top, and he still has this angle. There's only electronic smoke. Finally, that goes down, and so these rotators will lose vision. You'd assume bomb planted. Ooh, yes, safe, tucked behind the pillar.
Wasted a molly.
Samdai Young burned off. It's a flash on Simple, and 4 members of NaVi standing. They need to keep those guns out and hit their shots as Ykinder attempts to press in with the insta-frag to Samdai Young, but now he's stuck in the crossfire. Electronic is pressed, feeling awkward as both sides are being aggressed upon. Simple's gonna get smoked off. The Tech9 delivers through the smoke. Simple finds one, and it falls simply onto OC. All that's left over, he walks in and taps. That elicits the flank, and Simple's gonna come in big to give NaVi 14. They've broken through.
3 frags on the round. It's Bit with the deep control inside of window to attract not 1, not 2, but 3 players over. And when they loosened up that much, NaVi recognized an opportunity. So it's a new look, an aggressive lurk at a Bit. It's not something you see him do every day in this position, even though he is going to lurk on every map on T side. And this does come down to a scary spot. The retake is looking like it's shaping up, but they throw a molly on top of the smoke and cave instead of denying the bomb plant position and waiting those smokes out. And then they give NaVi enough time that they can set up, post, and just start spraying through the smoke to stop any kind of cross into the site.
Shout out Perfecto as well, catching a player on the flank last round. Made Simple's job all the easier to close out that last kill. 12-3 was the score at the end of the first half. NaVi have only struck back twice ever since. And OC, what could have been a chance at an opening frag is a missed shot instead. Tough one to hit with the jump back.
They don't, oh yeah, this is, I feel like OC's a little bit uncomfortable right now. He's not aware of what his teammates are holding for him, but wants to stay active. A couple of opportunities missed in this position as things get very tense. And it looks like Ykinder, if he has vision, can spot this for a moment, but Ykinder starting to peel back. OC
still floating.
Again, still floating, taking a risk here, wants to hold on to some information, looking for a late lurk out mid. Clearly feels confident that he can avoid this.
The flash keeps Naf alive.
And they've kind of
figured it out.
Taking the veil off the idea here for NaVi. It's going to be hard for them to go A in this spot. So very dangerous position for the T side, and the CTs continue.
And OC's coming over.
Yes, and he was still holding on to mid control for a long time there. This might actually be very difficult for NaVi, but they got a lot of players left.
Yeah, no nades.
No nades.
No nades, nothing inside of the site other than the brute force of Ykinder. Good for 2. Simple's back into the engagement, but they boost one over the smoke, looking towards cave. It's enough, but he slides off, and that gives Simple a chance to strike. Can he fall away? Down to the half health, swapping out to the AK. There's no flank here. Team Liquid had the pieces in position, but a slip up has maybe given NaVi all they need. Nitro keeps it clean. Fire on the bomb site to make sure nobody's in that spot, but it's Simple with an open cave door, only momentarily. That will not stop Elige. Jumping over, electronic pressures from the other side. They know where NaVi's at, but Team Liquid still scrambling to get this defuse. Reload finds it. Simple can't stop this time. It's a defuse from Elige with a few seconds to spare, and this game goes the distance.
Yeah, Yeah, it's going. Yeah, it was a little bit messy, of course, right there, but Liquid had a lot more advantages. They had 2 smokes left in the retake. They had OC with the full kit, in fact. They used their smokes in the best way possible. They narrowly avoided getting all spammed down, but ultimately they were up numbers in most of these situations. That boost failing was where it got a little scary. We saw what Simple did in that last post plant, but ultimately it's the numbers that win the round. Liquid have to feel good about that, actually. And now they know they've got to bust it down NaVi or onto Galil's. We have the op on Simple, but it's Liquid with the vast majority of rounds in the second half looking for match point.
Util both ways in mid. NaVi nervous, close positions could be occupied, not the case. Total forfeiture of mid control from Liquid. They're just gonna give Nitro that deep angle in Donut.
Yeah, I don't like this round so far from Team Liquid. We don't have an op with any active position. We don't have any cave control to kick things off. They're not playing like they're the team who's richer at the moment.
Right.
We'll see if NaVi can take advantage of the space that's been given over. Now, we saw a protocol from Team Liquid to go for late mid retake. Kinder is starting to join forces with Elige.
OC's come through. Last time he delivered from this spot, and this time, sure enough, he will again. Nitro's inside the smoke. They're pressuring him. Elige picks up the kill elsewhere. Jumping distraction from Perfecto goes down, and this one's the clean sweep so far. SDY, excellent first half. This time, too late to the party because Donut is all NA, baby.
Yeah, it looks like they spread out just in case for all types of options, but they reorganized just in time. I was wondering where OC was, and then he joined forces in Donut. The too late in mid, they had the exact right idea. The tapestry always looks like a mess before it's finished, and Liquid have nearly put the crown on. They've got this 29th round. They're in the power position. They can read into the money of NaVi, and they have just so many quality rounds won here on the CT side.
What a move from Nitro. Survives the pressure, saves OC, gets both those players down point blank. We've got a cache of flashes left in the spawn, and it's a fast one out towards mid yet again. NaVi gunning for OT. Elige welcomes back some spam. And we've seen Bit press in. Remember, that one time he got into this corner, it drew all of Liquid off of that B site. It created what was a perfect vacuum for NaVi's offense. And they're going to try what looks like that exact same play again. Bit not into Red Room yet, but Elige is also giving him the possibility. No lane pressure.
We love them imploring this idea again, and Bit doesn't really need a good gun for this. He's trying to just cause paranoia in this spot. Having to think about him without being able to approach him is one of the worst positions on CT side. They're creating this kind of concave arrangement around him, but they're also allowing for timings where he could come out and he's just got a Tech 9, but Nitro will spot him and clap him. Bit's out of the round. 5v4 for Liquid.
Dude, Nitro's impact in these last couple of rounds has been essential, but there we go. Starts to slide back, and they know that Nitro's back over here.
And Nitro, I think he wants to get involved, but being inside of Donut, he's responsible for the A side. He has great angles here, and importantly, Kinder with this late mid re-aggression to clear things out, it gives Nitro the confidence to walk back, and look how they arrange around this. They're now fully focused on the A site.
Kinder comes in. He was absent in the first half, and he's going to have to keep it clean. Nitro right in front. They line up, and Nitro has done it again. Round 29, round 30, multiple kills each time. It's Perfecto to the clutch. They don't know about Kinder, and sure enough, OC starts to join this party. Perfecto goes for the bomb plant. Time is of the essence. Shots off the mark. He gets a chance to move forward, but it's 16-14 for Team Liquid, and they'll move forward to the 2-1 group. An incredibly quiet half from Kinder and OC, but Nitro stands up when it matters, and Team Liquid will claw this all the way back on Ancient.